Meeting of the Finance Committee. It is October 22nd. We have a quorum present. And we are certified and compliant with open meetings laws. Only staff here, so I don't know if anyone even online for a public comment. So we're all good. All right. Communications, we've got shared ride services contract extension.
This is just letting you folks know that we extended the contract with Running Inc. This will be the third year of 5-year contract. The fees that they're charging us are going up by 2.5% based upon the federal contract. So about this time next year, we're going to have to be in the process of going through the RFP again. So like I said, it's just kind of courtesy to let you know what's happening there. Any questions?
I did think their reasoning was a little flimsy as far as what they put in their form anyway,
Reasoning for what?
for whatever their pricing, their fee increase was.
That was me who put it in.
What? Come on, Dave.
Considering we had no other applicants for the contract, kind of like, okay.
And I do remember our previous vendor. So I think they're a big improvement over the previous. That's my personal opinion anyway.
Yeah, that I'll agree with. Because you two worked on that RFP the last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally paying them better too, so that helps. Yeah,
Yes.
pretty good drivers now.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any other complaints they want to lob at Dave?
Sure. I always do. A couple other things. So tonight will be Lisa's last meeting on finance. So if anybody is gonna need to miss a meeting like the next one, let us know so we can make sure that we're gonna have a forum. And depending on what happens for the new alder, we'll see, if we get somebody sworn in right away, hopefully at the next council meeting, which is after the finance meeting. So we're gonna be short for sure at the next finance committee meeting.
That's very true.
And then the other thing is, I know, Dave, you want to kind of highlight your conversations regarding the Act 12?
Okay.
Not to put it on the spot, but you did a lot of work on it.
High level conversation. We received, because of the personal property aid, about $154,000, which goes into the levy limit calculations. However, when I looked closer at it, that only gave us $103,000 for either 103 or 130, whichever it is, for levy increase, 130. But then when I looked at the numbers, the personal property was about 18% of our net new construction when they did the reclass. But the 154,000 that they gave us was 54%. It's a wide swing. So by my calculations there, we were shorted about 100,000. So my contention is we should have gotten 54 and then allowed that 100,000 to be added to our levy limit. So it's hurting us going forward. We had a conversation with Tony Herkert with League of Wisconsin Municipalities today. And after talking it through, she understood our issue. They've invited us, Marie and I, to discuss with the Department of Revenue what's occurring. It's probably an unintended consequence of Act 12. But we are a very good test case because we had our record net new construction. We didn't close bid. We don't have any airplane hangars. We don't have any pipelines. So we're a quote normal example, and we should have had much more for net new construction.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Progress,
Yeah.
I guess.
we'll see what happens. I have a feeling it's going to have to be a, technical correction next year, but we'll see what revenue says because it could potentially need statutory change.
Okay, well, thanks for pursuing that, Philip. Do
You're welcome.
you have a question?
No, I was just gonna ask what the timeline was that you mentioned that it could end up being a long-term,
Well,
depending on how they view it.
it depends, and after revenue looks at it, and if they, feel that we're right, you know, they're gonna have to dig into it, see if their interpretations of the statutes allow them to make changes or not. And if it doesn't, it's gotta go to, legislature for changes, talking with the league. They anticipate that there is going to be, and I forget the wording that they use, but basically a correction to the Act 12 for any technical corrections. This would probably be included in there if that's what occurs. But that could be 3 months, that could be 9 months, I don't know.
We'll
Any
see after-
questions on that topic?
We'll see after 2 weeks.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't just affect us either.
true, because there's gotta be many others out there that are kind of in the same situation. It's just not as pronounced because they may not have had a record year.
That's what I wondered. Yeah, they might not have even noted it unless they were growing rapidly. So,
Correct, and depending upon the experience and expertise of the people, they might have just said whatever the revenue says is right.
yeah, yeah. I suppose.
So if they in fact have to make an adjustment, does that affect the state's money? I mean,
Well,
it's really only affecting the property tax portion.
well, it is affecting the state's money
It
because the legislature, as part of Act 12, essentially created a fund. I think they said today it was 173 million that is split between all the entities. But let's just say we were overpaid. That might mean that somebody else is underpaid, so they'll potentially could get more money. They could just do it as a levy limit adjustment. I'm not sure. Considering that we are less than a month from when the budgets have to be adopted by statute, there's not a lot of time to get anything done for this budget year. So we'll have to see what they do for next year. I'm hoping that they do a kind of retroactive adjustment to correct the levy limit going forward. But at worst case scenario, I'd want it added so that the 26 budget has that wiggle room.
Perfect.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Any last thoughts on that? All right, thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
All right, then, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from October 8th meeting.
I would move to approve, but I did have a question. I remember reading them when I think Nicole Marie sent them out, but are they in the packet?
Mhm.
I
I
just-
would have to look.
So if they're, I was just gonna suggest if maybe I'm missing them, but if they're not, somebody would put them in the packet, maybe.
And I'll see what I can find here.
But I read them. I mean, I think Nicole Marie sent them out, so I read them then, so I'm comfortable approving them, but
Yeah, it's in the file, but.
I blame Google. Yeah. So anyway,
No, they're
I
not
make
in
a
the
motion to
packet.
approve.
I apologize.
Thanks for mentioning.
All right, second by Ozzy. Any other edits in that? Did everyone have a chance to look at them? Okay. We're all good with that. All right, so all in favor, aye?
I,
And are any opposed? All right, minutes are accepted. As the mayor pointed out with Lisa's last meeting, I want to thank Lisa for all the years in finance here. So all the contributions, all the good
Very well.
questions.
It's been a learning experience, that's for sure. Thank you.
One place where literally the buck stops here or starts, or it's moved from one fund to another. All right, we've got a spate of reports then in there.
So for reports B through E, there was not many comments between Nicole Marie and myself. We didn't see a lot of things that needed commentary on. So I'm just going to open up the floor to you folks to see if you have any questions on those items.
Yeah, I looked through on them and I didn't really see anything that was super glaring. Some things in like the check ones where one was voided and then reissued at a later date, but I mean, it wasn't anything that was.
Nothing earth shattering.
Nope.
Any other questions, or comments? Okay, retirement payouts, we haven't had any yet. We just know we've got one coming up in January. For item G, I was asked by Wibbick to let them know how much was available for the revolving loans. So as part of it, I went through and had to verify everything that we have for ARPA is accurate. Top section shows that we've got little over 600,000 that is allocated, but we have not spent any money on yet. The top one, the ambulance, has now been delayed till March or April.
Of which year?
Yeah, pretty much so. Next section, we have loaned out 200,000 in ARPA funds for revolving loans. And at the bottom, we've still got 88.7 that we could, that's been available in the ARPA funds for loading out. So any questions on any of those items?
Do they have to be paid out by the end of this year? Or just?
Cash has got to go out the door 12/31/26. Yeah, by the end of this year, we have everything appropriated, which we had.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
just the interest that accrued that we can hang on to because.
I couldn't remember.
Yes and no. We,
Yes and no.
in one of our creative ways to balance the budget, we transferred approximately 19.5 in interest earnings to the general fund to support it.
It's all good, use money's where they are, so.
So the 88,679 in ARPA, is that before or after the 19,000? Is that what the one you're talking about, or is that something else?
Well, the 19.5 was in interest earnings on non-ARPA funds,
Oh,
just the cash we had. Okay, and then the next one that's in there is just informational only. Again, Wibbick had asked how much we've got available for revolving loans. So the RDA's revolving loan fund has about 66.5 that could be loaned out at this point. So between the two, you're looking at, I don't know if I can add in my head, about 148 in total. So at the rate we go at $50 per 50,000 loan, it's a little less than 3 loans available in total. And the RDA's revolving loan has to be in the downtown area. Any other questions on those? We're done.
Yeah, we'll run through the report, so it's still got things hanging on the future agenda items, but,
Yeah, they're a little bit less priority than the other things we've been working on.
yeah, that will, I mean, over this year so far, really pared that list down, so.
While I'm thinking about it, I do have one thing for communications. I got the approval from Tim. The 25. Capital improvement plan had 15,000 for bond issue for our fixed asset software. We're at the point now where we'd like to get it implemented. So if we started in November, by February, we can have it all implemented as part of the year-end process instead of waiting another year. So we actually signed the contract today, so we'll proceed with that. I would anticipate that training is going to go pretty well. Both Nicole, Marie, and I have worked with ERP systems, fixed assets. So, and she got the data into Excel in a good form. So it should be fairly easy, but then we've got cleanup too. Anything you wanted to add? Nicole?
Always a plus. All right, unless anybody's got anything else to add into a future agenda item, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Who's to adjourn?
Lisa's got the motion.
Second.
Second by Greg. Any last questions? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.